All right, chat. After the latest episode of The Pit, I'm afraid Dana is gonna go to prison, and I'm like, I'm like very sure she's gonna go to jail, because unless Robbie decides to cover for her, there's no way she can get out of what she's just done. Now, I feel bad for her because Dana is considered like one of the pillars of the ED in the Pit for good reason. She has experience, she's tough, she's compassionate, she knows exactly what she's doing. But last season, when she was assaulted by a patient who was in his right mind, he was just mad that it took so long for him to get treatment. He decided to punch her in the face while she was on her break and walk off. She decided to take her own safety into her own hands. And this is not a dig against security over there. It's just there's so much going on there. It's not like she can have her own personal security. So she has to protect herself. Now, I still don't know. Maybe I need to rewatch if that patient from last season who punched her in the face was arrested or not. That may also be the reason why she feels so unsafe. But in season 2, there's a new nurse named Emma. She's very young, bright-eyed, and Dana is taking her under her wing. Now, unfortunately, Emma is assaulted by a patient who is on coke and alcohol, and he has like a psychotic break or something, and he has her in a headlock, choking her out, and they're yelling code hula hoop because that's now unfortunately they have to have a code for when a member of their staff is assaulted. Dana is the first person who rushes in to help Emma. Now, only Emma and Dana were in there and witnessed what really happened. I don't know if Emma's lying when she says she didn't see what happened, but Dana sedated the patient. Now, she should not have drugs on her unless a doctor dispensed it, prescribed it, and a doctor did not. So now Robbie immediately is like, where did you get this from? She's like, oh, I was carrying it around for discard. Somebody ordered it for another patient and I was supposed to throw it away, but I just happened to have it on me when this incident happened. Now she tries to brush it off, but Robbie is not dumb. He knows this is not the truth. So he eventually gets it out of her that she's been carrying this around ever since she was assaulted, just waiting for another patient to try her so she could sedate them. And then on top of that, she punched the guy in the face, the guy who had assaulted Emma and broke his nose. Now, y'all gonna think I'm messed up for saying this? I'm not mad at her for punching the guy in the face. She had to get him off of her. She had to get this grown man off of this little nurse, okay? She had to do what she had to do. However, I am gonna say, even though I'm understanding of her trauma, she should not have those drugs on her. I think she's gonna go to jail, which really sucks because I love Dana as a character. She provides a lot of wisdom, a lot of compassion. The way she treated that assault victim, like maybe 3 episodes ago, and actually walked us through how that kit that has to be submitted to the police goes, because I don't think I've ever been educated on that. That was a really tense episode, and I feel like as a nurse, I never really thought about the emotions that you have to go through while taking this statement and physical evidence, including pictures of this assault against this woman. Do I think Robbie is going to cover for her? Yeah, for sure. I think they have so much shared history. His promise or his offer to cover this up for her and prescribe this medication that she shouldn't have been carrying around to cover her tracks is like within the realm of possibility for him. But I want to point out how much that this makes him a hypocrite. I know the situation with Langdon is different because Langdon was actually taking the drugs he was stealing from the hospital, and Dana is carrying it around for safety to use against patients. But I feel like it's still, the ethics are still on the same wavelength. They're being stolen. The drugs are being stolen. They're not being used for the intended purpose. So him still holding this grudge against Langdon and offering to cover this up for Dana even though her situation is because of self-defense, I feel like it's still wrong. Ethics is always so, there's always some gray area that makes it complicated. But if we really simplify this situation down, Robbie is wrong in wanting to cover this up for Dana. But there's this like other thing I want to call out. Dana called Robbie out on his suicide quest. Maybe we should call it something else because I don't think I can say that word. I may bleep it out. On his quest to end his journey with life, I guess we'll call it. So this video doesn't get flagged. But it's this obvious, I guess it's super obvious to Dana that this whole quest, this motorcycle journey that he's gonna go on is not a good idea, and she knows exactly what he's planning to do. And it's interesting, she did not call him out about this until she was pissed off. Why did you not attempt to talk to your friend about this before now? Instead, she's using it to hit him below the belt because he called her out on what she's been doing wrong. And how he knows she assaulted this patient physically and on top of drugging him. If Dana doesn't end up going to jail, I think she's going to end up quitting, which is going to be so sad because I can't imagine having more episodes of the Pit without her. And while we're on the subject of nurses, I want to know what's going to happen to Nurse Jessie. The fact that ICE took him because he was interfering with their work when they were interfering with his work with taking care of a patient and took him off somewhere and nobody knows where he is. Interested to see how they're going to resolve that. And I've seen some comments about people saying they hate how TV shows bring politics into shows. Like, are you not realizing politics, unfortunately, are a part of our life and TV shows reflect real life? Like, like, what am I missing? Anyway, let me know how you guys like the Pit. Oh, before I sign off, it looks like Trinity, Dr. Santos, is planning to self-harm again. We've seen in like a previous episode, she had wounds on her thighs from like cutting from stress, but it looks like she slipped a little scalpel from a cart into her pocket, and she may be planning to harm herself. I don't think there's one mentally healthy person in that ED. Maybe it's Whitaker, maybe, I don't know. But they all need like a group therapy session on the regular because this is getting too much. Anyway, if you watch the episode, leave your comments. How do you feel about what Dana did? Do you think it's on the same wavelength as what Langdon did? Or do you think what Langdon did was worse? What a tongue twister.